Hey, what's going on? It's Michael. In this quick video, I will show you how to get fast business loans up to 500,000 and above, what they look like, how they're structured, what to expect, can you qualify, business credit, financial literacy, why that's important. In fact, I'll be taking you behind the scenes. It's right here showing you inside of the membership course that I have access to that you can get your hands on. You see right here, Financial Literacy 101, Reducing Taxes 101, guerrilla money strategies. You see things here like car flipping 101, passive power profits with mobile homes, stress-free property management, house flipping 101, and more. And in this, it features a very well-known person you likely know of, have heard of, and if you haven't, you'll be happy you did and get to know more about what they do in this Financial Literacy Academy membership course because it is everything. And learning financial literacy is super important not only in business, not because you're in business should you start automatically learning about financial literacy. And that shouldn't be when the switch turns on. It should be in any day-to-day life that we go through. We want to learn how to better our finances, our debt. And I have other things around debt that you can get your hands on how to clear debt, the strategic way. There's snowball, there's other ways, and what's most recommended strategically, inputs and outputs. And over here, I have my link tree. So if you ever want to get in contact with me, I'm right here, the weirdo picture there. I'm very introvert, more the analytical, cerebral, less words. I'm an action taker. I judge people based on their actions and their merits, their character, characteristic traits, their governing principles, their values, their vision, their mission, their morals, their ethics, and again, character and characteristic traits. I truly do care about personal growth and development, self-mastery. I've mastered that over the years, and I'm only growing more and more. I'm not where I want to be, although you might see and or think differently. And when you get to see more of me, if you haven't, and get to know more of me, you'll be like, how more can you get to? There's a lot more for me to learn under others and what I'm sharing with others and doing things and ascending to a higher level in faith, in spirit, in my soul as a person, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and in so many levels. And that's what I would like you to have too. And it brings a peace of mind, more comfort, more awareness, social awareness, even though I don't want to say I'm not social, but I'm less with words, more action. You see me here, but I'm not even much of a small talk person. I'm a brain person. I'm the thinker. Let me solve math problems. Let me figure out how to fix, grow, scale your business. Let me figure out these tools, this system. Let me put this system together. Let me look at the data, the numbers, reverse engineer those. I love math. Mathematically, I'm inclined, and that's just repetition and growing throughout the years in my education, schooling. Went to school for chemical engineering for some time, and then I went into business, got my degree there because I want to start business. Wanted to start and chemistry is my favorite class. So I don't want to say I'm 100% a geek or anything. I'm just more go with the flow, easygoing. And so with me, you should never ever have a problem. I always believe that at this point, and I've been at this point for many years, I'm not saying I'm perfect. That's not what this means. I've worked hard for what I have and who I am and why I am the way I am as a person and helping others be loyal, be trustworthy, reliable, accountable, and so many things is a lot of the times people, not just in your business, there's a hiccup or multiple now, or there will be and continuously and will be for the foreseeable future, is that people fumble it, is their character gets in the way, they self-sabotage, they self-defeat, they go everywhere, they shop everywhere. They don't have someone who will really tell it to them here on a video. It doesn't have to be another format, but right here as you're getting it right here. And I'm not one that likes to talk about this subject. So I wanted to get this part quickly out of the way. I can spend a lot of energy and time talking about this. I'm not one to do that, but I can just indirectly understand what I'm saying without telling you directly. Because I am more of an indirect person. My younger brother will tell you that, my family will. I can be direct when I have to be and direct with the right people in the right situation. Another thing to understand is if you go out there anywhere and everywhere, what's your standard? Who do you want to go to? Do you want to turn to a person you can build know, like, and trust with. You know, like, and trust already. And if you've been following me for some time, you know who I am. I know who you are very likely. And I hope to get to know more of you if I haven't, and even get to know even more if I already have. So it's about understanding that strategic partnership and roadmap way beyond just the business, because I don't just help you in funding. I do analyze businesses for a living. I take my time. I even write things down. I have my own Excel spreadsheets and looking at different businesses, different models. I've looked at many of them, and here are the constraints. Here's the key component that will actually bring the business up. We got to stabilize the business by doing this. We don't need another loan. We don't need a new loan. We don't actually need business credit. If we just fix the foundation on this and increase the conversion percentage from 1 to 2% for the amount of people that landed on this page, if you got a 30% opt-in, are those people going directly to your calendar? Do you have a 2 to 3 step funnel? I also know digital marketing at a high level. Before I got into finance funding on this side, that's where I've carried everything: digital marketing and agency, lead generation, health, affiliate marketing. I did that, health and wellness, to a few other ventures. And then this I've been doing for many years now. So I've done email marketing for people, clients. I've done lead generation, helping businesses get leads. And I just want to be the most energy and time efficient person. I'm not taking everyone on so much volume like I used to many years ago. I want lesser volume like I have been, and higher quality of people and in business. And I'm not saying you have to have this high standard like I do. It's just you want to work up to that. Let's work up to that. Let's help one another. Let me help you. You help I. Let me help you ascend to a higher level as a person and grow, not just in business. We got to grow as people. Growing in business, going in our 9 to 5, that isn't in anything. That's not enough. If it's not anything, it's not enough. We got to get more. And people tire kick. So I have to be very careful. And right here is what you can get access to. If you want to start a home-based business, I have this link right here. You can click right here, or this button you can click on with a link in it that takes you to a page. You can get access to my group. It's a different group that I have. And then I have another one for funding. So if you would like more information, this isn't in my link tree now. I may put it, I may not. I might leave an individual link down here in the description, or it might be there in time. So you can see this here and how to get started. Go to my guides section, guide one. You can get the free business credit building video series there and more. That'll be under it. And let me go back over here to my community home. And you can see here I have featured, and there's more stuff in there. Over here, my Instagram, just so you know, I've worked hard to build this. It's super hard for me to do a video. You see here, it's not natural for me at all. Just look at me. Am I a video looking person? No. And I don't fault you for saying no. Don't lie and say yes to make me feel better. You could say, you're doing your best, keep doing more of it, and you get used to it. I would take that answer over, yes, you are. And yeah, you could say in times I am, but I'm not that kind. I'm the back end person of a business. That's where I do best. That's where I'm looking at numbers, cash flow, putting budgets together, proposals, business plans, looking at numbers, making it function, the marketing function, systems function, and doing the marketing, doing those things, and ascending businesses, community to a higher level. That's what I feel best doing. Reviewing financials, all of that. I love it too. I read credit reports. That's my bread and butter, along with analyzing businesses, fixing, growing, scaling them. The funding, what I can help you front end, that for me has become so easy. And it's just simple, like here's the process, or here's the fundamentals you need to have. Here's the qualifications. Here's how this would look like. And even then, do a lot of other people even communicate with you the process and the full requirements? You have to ask yourself that. Do they leave the process out? Wouldn't you have wanted to know whether you knew to ask that or not? You knew that, but you didn't ask it, or you didn't get to it, that it was in the back of your mind. You were waiting for them to say something. You shouldn't have to say it. They should tell you what the process is and their part in their communication. So whether I'm doing it in an email or in another format, I'm going to communicate to do this more or less. So you have the understanding of what you're getting into. Like you're getting into bed with someone. What's the process before you get into bed with someone? The heck? Now, whatever the standards are, I'm just different, and I want to get to know someone deeply, and I want to get to know what they got up here and growing. They want to grow. We want to grow together as people and relationships, and whatever that relationship means in many ways, in personal and or business. So here I'll do lives from time to time, spontaneously. I'll pop up. Don't always expect that, but from time to time I do that. And people come in who have been in there before, who say hi. I know who they are. and new people, returning people. It's amazing. It's the culture, the ecosystem, the environment you want to be a part of. So right here, you can get access to my link tree from right here too. As you can see, you can click right here. You should be able to see my Facebook group depending on the device you're watching from as well. And so I have that, my Facebook profile right there. Let me see what else I have. And then we'll go back to the subject matter. I apologize. I know spending a little bit of time. And here you can see on the financial literacy I was telling you about earlier. And there is the person who is featured in, who is Mark J. Kohler, very well known, very respected in what he does. And so that's what I would pick up with the financial literacy. You can pick it up for 50% off if you go through here. And there's other stuff you can pick up here if you want to start a home business. You can use this to run your current business. You get a page building tool. You even get the Let's Go app for personal transformation and morning routine. So you can get a routine going, daily methods of operation there, goal setting, vision board. All that is helpful. You can have that digitally. I still write things down a lot. I can use both though. And if you decide to promote this, this gives you 80% commission. So you can use this to promote the system, the programs in it, the different individual products, the pages you can use for your own business to get leads for your business, to follow up with those leads through email marketing. You can learn, I can help you with that stuff. And believe me, I've done a lot of digital marketing. I've built websites, funnels. How do we do the appointment setting? Once they land on this page, what should we offer them for free? How do we increase our conversion? It's less about getting more customers, more clients. It's about focusing on higher quality and those you bring in through your funnel, offering them the right offer and then the right follow-up sales process, sales cycle. So you got to think about that and doing the one thing that can move the needle most and not having to focus on too many things and too many products and services and so many features and benefits to everything. And just focus on that one thing that if you turn the needle on that, that can really accelerate your business. So you can start this one as a business if you wanted to do this home business without any inventory, management of buildings, equipment, preventative maintenance, things break down. You need employees, government contracts. You don't need that with this kind of business. High overhead, nope. No high expenses, unlike other traditional and even non-traditional brick and mortar businesses. So if you wanted to start this, or if you wanted to have your business on this and have these pages for the funnels that you can get access to, you can through here. And I have the Financial Literacy Academy funnel builder. There's also premium, how to drive traffic and conversions online and different places you can do that. So the funnel builder, putting these pages together for the capture page, thank you page, you can put your story on there. Here's what to expect, book your appointment here, or whatever that is. There's different widgets for this that you can put there. And there's other tools out there. That's an all-in-one too. If you wanted a different one, I can show you the direction on that. Very quickly, here's the 3 cash flow secrets that create 7 figures of cash flow in any business. I'll try to leave a link for this down below. You can pick up the free ebook and the cash flow financial management tool that I've been speaking about. I won't spend so much time on that here today, but there's a video here you can watch, and you can see I go more over it right here. Everything that you're getting access to, you can watch this, bookmark this page, and come back to later. Okay, I know, quite a bit, right? And I usually don't do that in my videos where I spend this amount of energy and time going over the opposing, less focused parts, and I get back onto what the primary premise of the video is. I just, again, wanted to take the time to make sure I serve you right and you understand that there's levels to business, there's levels to life, and I'm not just the funding guy, funding expert, business loan broker expert. I do a lot in credit, cash flow, collateral, liquidity, equity, real estate in the mix, and more. I review financials. It's just I'm more up here. I'm already tired of speaking. It's been a long day. You can tell it's dark. I apologize for that, but I wanted to make this for you. I know I said quick, so we're gonna get on with it here. So, what do we look for when we're getting a small business loan? When you go to banks, I'm not going to speak about amortization. I'm not even going to put that here right now. I don't want to start confusing and adding that and then having to add rates, terms, and all that. When you go to banks, traditional ones, you're going to see 2+ years required. You also see 4+ years, depending on banks, location, excuse me, use of funds, type of business. But usually you see a lot of the times 2+ years. And then you have to look at the appetite of what that bank has. Are they taking your kind of business more than they are taking others? Well, how much do they put into these kinds of businesses? Why do they have the amount to put in those kinds of businesses? And I'm not going to get into what they make money on interest and all the other stuff. I'm not going to even go into another topic about Federal Reserve and stocks, crypto, high risk, volatile crypto, and what's working now, what isn't, what will be working in the future, economics, policy, trade. I won't get into all that because I can and I can speak on it, but I won't do that. And then what is the revenue? Is it 250K plus? Is it 500K plus? What is revenue for 500K? Dun, dun, dun. Yes. And you can see it be 250,000 minimum. Other banks, depending on their appetite, their minimum and maximum, they'll like 500,000 and above. What kind of product are you taking to them? Are you hedging against some kind of collateral, some kind of asset, something that's quickly liquidable in asset? Is it protected? Is it liable? Is there going to be needing to be any additional liability coverage, insurance? Would you default, and how can they quickly make their money back and sell that? Somebody can make the money off of that syndication. There's a lot of stuff, and I know things at a very, very high level. So if you want to stick with me, stick with me. You want to work with somebody that won't pressure you, that will actually communicate to you well, then do so. And then over here, I have my business funding submission form, and I have my process. I can't spend my time on phone calls with each person. I'm more of a like scientist. I was gonna say scientist and more scientific. Chemistry was my favorite class, and it is. I studied chemical engineering and went into business, got my degree. Worked construction, manufacturing, warehousing, rampaging, career role, and administrative dispatch. Did not like that, as well as other positions. But we have to do what we have to do. And financial logistics for a huge contracting company servicing HP and others in the vicinity. There's a downturn, 50 plus people were relieved. I'm one of them. I have to go back to unemployment benefits and food stamp cards. It was one of the hardest times in my life. Going to pay for family meal, wishing I had more. EBT, if it wasn't already all in my head, thinking, it was even more stressful. I can only imagine that if you are that kind of person too, who thinks a lot, you would know. And it was a difficult time, so I didn't want to look like a burden and feel like one of my family, even though they wouldn't tell you. And so I had to make a change. Long story short of it, I found my way, found ways to build a business, build one online. After other things I've done outside of that, building it online and extending, having an extensive network, building multiple businesses online as an entrepreneur. And it's been everything. It's allowed me to have more freedom and give back more to my family, go and do more of what I'd like to do. And I'm not materialistic. I'm very simple, like rock music, very easygoing. People will tell you that like that Michael guy is very easygoing. He doesn't have negative thoughts. Although we all do it in times in our life, it's not so much something that blocks me or stops me. I know how to get over it because I have the consistency and discipline. And when you have that, whatever you feel like that day, you will do what you have to do regardless of how you feel. The work has to get done. Your focus work has to get done, and it's meaningful. And the more of a pattern and the more you build up that endurance, the more you show up. The more you keep doing it, even on your off days, you keep putting the reps in because you know they'll amount for more. And if you miss those days, you know what that can add up to and subtract to, multiply and divide to. What's the common denominator? Not growing, you're not growing at the rate you want to grow. Now you got to make up for things that you should have been doing on that day. Now you got to make up for it on another time or another day when you could have been doing something, you should have been doing something else. So very simple person. I live in Washington State. I love to fish. Very simple. I grew up in California, lived in California, Orange County, Southern California area, been in different areas, but lived in Orange County, but been around California, what is what I meant. And now I live in Washington State, moved here in 2003, went back there for school and more, worked out there, came back here, worked here. Yeah, very simple. Younger brother, and then it's me, I'm the older one. We're usually 6, 7 years apart. And so it depends on the bank's requirements, what they ask for, 2 plus, 4 plus years, 250,000 minimum, 500,000 and above, 350,000. You'll see that oftentimes too. And then there's a lot of stuff that's going on with the banks right now in the banking system. Um, I'm not going to get into much detail, but even them, they want to lend. They want to lend more to specific types of businesses too. And they want to know how much they can lend, and they're still trying to figure out certain things depending on that bank. And are you going to a credit union? Are you not going to a credit union? Are you going more regional? Are you going to a bigger tier bank where they only have an appetite for specific business and they want to raise everything for that kind of business and put all their um, tools and energy and time into making sure you get the funding for that business. I don't want to spend a lot of time on what banks want and what this bank wants, Chase, and what that bank wants over here. I'm not going to spend so much time on that. And so that's what you're looking for. Paydex score, you might see them ask for 70 plus, have a DNB score, or have your DNB and have your business credit profile at the very minimum set up. Have some business credit going through it, payments going through it. That's what banks do want to see. A FICO SPSS business credit score of 100, 35, 45, 55. You've even seen it go up to now like 165, 170, but you don't always get that. And it's not like you always have to meet that requirement. They just want to make sure that the business is also getting payments and they're making payments and they're paying their vendor suppliers and vice versa. Everything is going and flowing well, and you're making consistent payments. Like your personal credit, you want to have consistency showing in that, and you're having recurring payments and distribute payments across the board on your personal and business credit profile, not just have one net 30 account, one net 45 account, and then just bank on all of that. And you may have something open for 10 to 20,000, but you got to spread yourself and have multiple variety and have a mixed credit profile. So that matters a lot. Other times it just wouldn't matter. Depends on the credit of your personal credit, depends on the strength of the business, the borrower quality, the borrower's personal profile, uh, availability, market conditions, durability, the competitiveness that they're seeking in that type of bank, that location. There's a lot of stuff that I can get into. And then I could also get into equity stuff. I love on the equity stuff. So outside of that, then you, depending on the industry you're in, like a lot of the times the banks won't always understand what you need the funding for. You could tell me and I'll understand it. I've seen everything pretty much. And I'll know based on what I know how to help you. And I'll know if a bank knows about that. And do they know it? Yes. Second, do they know how to help you with this and understand that you have a lot here? You have for residential, commercial, you have mixed use, and then you're trying to put together a leased building on leased land you're trying to own, you have a title, you got to do this first, so you need funds for that, and then you need extra working capital reserves, and then you have over 100,000 in debt you need to clear that a bank term loan from a traditional bank wouldn't help. So it's like, what do I do in that situation? And excuse me, if you're trying to get a real estate loan, what do I do there? For the value of the collateral, 100% to upwards of 150% total in value of that collateral, not more, what it is priced at in total. Is it pieced together? Is it one whole thing? Is it multiple pieces of collateral as one or multiple individual different pieces of collateral that they'll take on all together to make up for that total amount of the loan they're going to give you? So equal to that of the loan that you're getting. So if you're getting a $200,000 bank term loan, have at least 200,000 plus in value, fair market value, total value. I'm not going to get into LTV and what the actual appraised value and liquidable value at sale price and profit per sale price of collateral. And if there are individual pieces, how much to make off that. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant and how much net free cash flow, net free profit do you make individually from each purchase that a customer makes? And what is that priced at? Are you making enough margin? Are you squeezed for margins? Are you tight? Are you negative in cash flow because of one or multiple products that you could have raised the price on? And it would have still been fairly affordable. And for the type of consumer who buys that product, they might have an extra $10, $20 a week to spend on, so they don't mind spending the additional 5 to 10 cents or $5 to $10 and markup price and costs for that product, but it's going to help benefit your business. And that's also the thing you have to understand in business is not only business brand, but personal branding. If you have returning customers, take care of your returning customers, know them, know, like, and trust. And those people remember you. You incentivize, you give them something. Yo, you gave them a free dessert. They'll come back for more. That doesn't mean they'll always get another one. They could if they're like that. And it makes sense for you with costs, COGS, cost of sales, the expenses, what you have to roll over, cash flow, what numbers you have to make. Are you not in margin, not enough gross profit, net free profit? And there's a lot of other numbers, investment cash flow, EBITDA. And that's another point that I want to make. EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. And that's equal to positive. I could just put is positive, is equal to. You see me use equal to plus. I'm a math guy. I'll put is. I like to write too. I did well in writing and English, and I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish fluently, read it, write it. Uh, what's the other one? Read, write, say it. My dad, Salvadorian from El Salvador. My mom's Mexican from Fresno, and her mom's from Mexico, Guadalajara. That's where I get that side. Grew up in California, and I just grew up more quiet. The brother just setting the path, going about his business. I played Division I soccer at a time, and so that kind of demonstrates that it's a process, and I understand process. I didn't understand it so much at the time, my purpose and my vision in life, and it's become ever so clear over the last many years now of where I want to go. And people have come to me, and people who have come to me, I'm so grateful and thankful for. And also those of you who have presented me with opportunity and opportunities, I'm so grateful and thankful for. My words cannot, you just know. And if you know who you are, you know who you are, and you know who you will be if I come in contact with you, that my words cannot express the meaning and the impact you've brought to me and what I'm going to bring to you and what I'm going to bring to the people around it. Because when I pour my heart and my soul into something, into a project, it takes my energy and time, and I have the vision, the purpose for it, well, this will go now and in the future. And not just the business, but the process of what the business will allow me, will allow others to have more of the build up to this project getting done, the process through the project already and continuing in the project. I see all of that and I'm envisioning a lot of that in my quiet place, not even saying it out loud, but in my place, just thinking of it. And so EBITDA positive, profits, profitability, whether that's 10% profit, 15% profit that you're making, and is it for the year, month to month? That drives the total of how much profit at the end of the year total. Net profit, let's just say net profit here, and gross profit, same thing. You want to see that positive profit trending upwards in revenue, increase in revenue. And if it goes down, it's not the end. It's not that a bank won't accept you. It's just what was the circumstance. By how much is one thing. It's very important to say that, let's say you were generating $150,000 a month consistently, and just recently, for whatever happened, you had to let something go. You let employees go, it just didn't work out. You had to consolidate. As a business, you cannot do that. You cannot take on any more employees. You're not hiring more. You have to reserve costs. You have to understand tariffs. You know you're getting set up for the next cycle in August or whatever goes on. And when things come into full effect on what you're trying to do and you have new inventory, you're getting set up to purchase, or you have already, but everything doesn't really roll over until later on, or when you're watching this already has. And so you have old inventory, you're still trying to get out the door, replenish. And believe me, like I said, I could spend a lot of time on banks, monetary policy, fiscal policy, economics in general, and go into real estate alone on homes. And what you're starting to see a lot of there, residential, commercial, what investors look for as their appetite for investing in pension funds, institutional investors, VCs, angel investors, and a lot of this stuff. I can speak about that at a higher level, and I stay on top of these things and networking and understanding this from others and me sharing things to others that they didn't know. And it's always a lot of this and just getting my information and being of help and of value to you and being on top of things. So profit up, decreasing revenue trend. Okay. By how much can you recover? How fast will you recover? Is it only a short slump? Is it a seasonal thing that's affecting it? Is it not just seasonal? It's also another thing. It's not seasonal and it is something. Did a competitor do something so you lost out on? And you also have to think of those things because If you're trying to get a large loan or a loan to a bank and you've lost this and your revenue is going down and it's not easily recoverable, your cash flow is not where it needs to be. The cash outflows are more than the cash inflow. So you're running a net negative. Let's just call it net negative. It's a negative net. And that's what's happening. Then it's a big, big problem to the business, and you can't recover as fast. And the lender, they're going to want to know the use of funds, the financial borrower power of how much this holds, how much do you spend to acquire a customer if you were trying to let's get an SBA loan. Other times, if you go to an alternative bank like I have, they won't need always to ask you for all that. So I have those as well. That's why it benefits you if you can't get something through a traditional bank. You go through an FDIC bank, and I have those options where the fast funding is in like 10 to 15 days, upwards of 30 days, because it's still a bank, it's underwriting. So it can take some time to underwrite through the process, but it's much faster, 7 to 15 days, if that. You can even get a quicker response in 3 days if it doesn't work, not like other places where it takes more time. And then it's not going to take 3 to 6 weeks or more than 3 to 6 weeks like you see in a traditional bank, or even like high tier or lower tier. And it can even take more time than that, depending on the underwriting and the appraisal, and there's real estate, and there's a lot of stuff you have to account for. So that could be faster. Bank loans, the amount of an approval can vary depending on the bank, market conditions. There's a lot of things. And getting approved 10 to 30% of your annual gross income, that's not always going to be the case. There are more factors that need to be reviewed. The collateral, and the collateral being 25% more in worth than the total loan amount that you get. So the total collateral of it being 25% and more than the total loan amount. And that can vary. Certain banks and places may want to offset things and look at it 100%. And it depends what you have, what you don't have, what they need to have based on your business, the standards, the market. There's a lot of things that need to be looked at when it comes to that. Credit requirements on the other side are 680. For this, you can see 680, 650, even more or less, depending on where you go. But 700 really is what you want. And from banks, you're starting to see a lot of the time 720 was one, but now you're starting to see closer to 730 and above. And if you go to an alternative bank term loan lender where they won't ask for collateral, they're just going to do a blanket lien like I can help you with. They'll do 680 plus on all three consumer credit bureaus. And I could have abbreviated this, but you see that there. And on FICO too, of course, they'll check more a lot of the time because they need to check. There's a lot of credit card debt out there, and fraud, and a lot of things that go on. Just making sure everything is clean. And then sometimes you see 680 on one, but normally you're going to see 680 on all three is really what it is. That's what it is. And the utilization, no more than 35%, under 35%, you'll even see underneath 30%. It depends on qualifications, on the qualifier, on the person qualifying. That's what I mean, on the borrower, and more. With debt service coverage ratio, net operating income is more than 1.25, or at least a minimum of 1.25, and what your debt service is and what your debt servicing. So making sure you have the right debt service coverage ratio does matter to a lot of banks. And you'll also see like 1.35, 1.45. It just depends on what type of lending institution that it is. Sometimes it might be less than 1.25, but really 1.25 is the minimum a lot. Minimum a lot. You hear that I speak quietly because I am more quiet, a more internal voice. Like when I speak to somebody, I'm not yelling or speaking from the kitchen to the living room. I've done that before, but I'm very up here, mindful. So if I'm going to speak to someone, and if it is urgent, I need to say it from across the room. I don't normally do that, but because I want to get close to someone and just say, "Hey, yes, that is it," and that's how it is done. And if you looked at it, see how much more, boom, and then I help you even more with that. So that's what you would expect. There's more qualifiers here to the banking requirements and what they're going to ask for. I could be spending a lot of time on different types of collateral, different banks, the documents they're going to ask for, balance sheets, use of funds, use of proceeds, uh, Is there any growth in using these funds? What exactly is it used for? Because it's sustainable. How much are you using this for something else? To have in reserve to pay down debt? Is it for that? You don't want to see so much use for that. Uh, P&Ls, followed by quite a bit of stuff. Tax returns, personal business tax returns, and a lot more of an extensive underwriting view. So if you want the alternative, I have that. I really wanted to add to this. If you can't get a business loan from the bank, a traditional, or even something other than that, where you don't go to your current bank or another one you know of very well, or will get to know of very well, and when you hear from others, is there's fast funding up to 2 million, up to 1,500,000, more than 2 million. And these though have high rates. They're not traditionally amortized on interest like a traditional bank loan, an SBA loan. And these are based on your future receivables, what you're going to make in money in the future, what you're making on now, what you'll predictably make in the future, and on your future sales revenue, etc. And so these can come with the higher rates. It could be much more volatile, less in terms of cash flow, it could be less flexible. Not always is that the case though. It could be more versatile, more flexible in terms of how you grow and your growth and your expansion, and you have to rely on these to do that and using them for the right reasons. And a lot of the times, depending on how much you're generating in revenue. So, for example, you're generating at least a minimum of 25,000 on your lowest month in the last 4 months, 6 months plus. Uh, that's a good place. 15,000 and above is a good place to start, too, is where I would say anything under than that's like really hard to get you above or equal to the amount of revenue you're generating per month. 100% of that, 100 to 150% of that, you're likely underneath 15,000, getting closer to 50 to 75%. And if you're less than 15,000 and around closer to like 5,000, 3,000, it's like, are you getting closer to 25 to 30%? 25 to 40 is like getting to 50% is a little bit more hard to do. So obviously the more you have in revenue, the better. 15,000, 25,000, 50,000, you're getting better. When you're closer to 50,000, it's that 100 to 200%, even 150 to 200% can be very helpful. And you have stable revenue, cash flow, profits, balances, average daily balances, starting, ending balances, and different parts. So I just wanted you to know that. And that's kind of a premise you can set for how much you could get approved for. But there's other factors like credit and more. So there's more that has to be looked at. And with the bank loans, and whether you're putting up collateral or not, the value of that equal to the loan amount, how much are you actually generating in yearly annual gross revenue top line, and what's your bottom line? How much profit are you generating? How much net in the green profit are you? How much net in the negative red profit are you over a year, if anything? How low have you gone? How high have you gone in profitability? And will you be lent 10 to 12% of your annual income? That's not always the case. It could be more than that based on the borrower's credit profile, based on the revenue, based on everything of the business. So there's a lot more to factor in, like collateral, to take collateral, getting more on the loan, and more. So that's another thing. And if you don't have to put up collateral, it's just a blanket lien, you go to an alternative lender through a bank that I recommend. There's multiple depending on your business, what your needs are, the complexity of it. That's a lot of it right now in the economy and in the market. It just depends on that. There's other variable factors on the amount of an approval uh, that somebody could get and the other debt that somebody carries. So it's not always like you're going to get the most amount just because you're generating, for example, 500,000 a year. Should you be getting 10 to 15, 10 to 12%, 10 to 20% of that? That's not always how it works. That's not usually how it would work. There's other variables that need to be accounted for. It's not that simple to look at. There's the debt service coverage ratio, net profits, net operating cash flow, CapEx, OpEx, operating cash flow, operating expenditures. There's a lot of different things to look at. So I'm here to help to make sure that you know what you're getting. And then there's real estate loans, and there's other angles to look at. It just depends on what your use of funds are for, and how much you can actually get approved for. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that part. And I think this, I'm going to go into now a little bit of business credit. I'm just looking at my tabs. I'm not one to speak and do something at the same time. Like when I'm looking, I do both so I can share with you what I'm doing. But again, like I said, I'm more of a, I'm going to be behind the scenes. Just let me figure this out. I got it. I got you. Don't worry. That's who I am. And I never let it get to my head. I'm not that person. I'm a Libra if that says anything. I'm just more confident and certain. Just I want to be brain working in my day, getting the dopamine hits that work for me well, that are going to help, not just getting dopamine hits and not doing anything. Being stuck in motion like a lot of people are, they just seek information. I know who the information seekers are, even before you think I know. And I don't have to say it, and I won't say it to you, or I won't tell you that you are. But I know who are the information seekers and just imply that. And if you are information seeking, great. You're at that phase, just gathering information. But where will ever the commitment be? Even if you're a little further in the process, a lot of the times people don't move forward. And why is that? Again, because they self-sabotage. They're very self-defeating. They are character. That's really what this is. I'm not perfect by all means, but I know it's not me. I'm very thoughtful and I think through what I say. And then I go, where's the feedback from the person? I spent all this time drafting, putting that email together that was more informative than they would have got anywhere else. Maybe not they were thankful and grateful for, but where's their response back? That shows me your character. That shows me how you're on things, how you're not on things. However you feel, let that go. That has to go. And if I'm going to respond to Jerry, Sally, I have a commitment to reply, but then I get busy from time to time too, so I can't always get to someone right away, and that happens. And I have to focus and prioritize something else. That happens. I have to communicate something else to someone else. I have to send an email like this. Okay, here's the potential ballpark range, or here's what I would assume. Here's how much we can do cash out refinance for likely, and that's LTV with this mortgage balance, and here's the process, and here's why it's 50 to percent LTV if it can go up more than entitled, developable property, build up, construction, is it buildable, first of all? Are there extra lots? There's a lot of things. But yeah, and I hope that covers this business credit. Oh, 0% interest business credit cards, those are available out there. And to credit stack, I've had people recently ask me if I had my credit at certain amount, could I get business credit cards? If they're at 680 or less, depending on the institution who's giving you those funds, and are you using it for what? For travel rewards, for mitigating, for covering high expenses, low expenses. So you're going to spend a minimum and a maximum each month. So you need more for your expenses, for different costs, material, for marketing and advertising expenses, a budget you have to set aside for. So it depends. Now, for credit card stacking that I can help with, you want to have right now in the market a 700 plus credit score on all three consumer credit bureaus to credit stack and having help you get 3 to 4, 3 to 5 business credit cards at most, if not more than that, or a couple. Depends on the borrower's credit profile and what they can and can't get. It's about the history, it's about the mix of credit, it's about the length of history, and also very importantly is um, using that credit. It's like one thing having it, but what's the history of you using that credit and is it consistent? Why isn't it anymore? What's happened? Why should we issue more credit when we know you have a $10,000 limit credit card, yet you haven't used at least 2,500 of that in the last 1 to 2 months? And if you have, it's not been as consistent. Or why do you have 2 to 3 cards totaling 30,000 and you're only using 1,500 of that? Well, one thing is to pay down the balance even before it hits 30 days. You have your closing date and you have your due date. You have different dates for this. So paying that down as soon as you can without waiting for closing and more, it's really helpful. There's other ways, and you can wait for that. That can still be helpful. But understanding how fast you can pay down that debt, that matters a lot to banks. And that's what they want to see a lot of too, is how fast you're able to pay down that credit card because there's a lot of credit card debt and they know the expenses. I know the expenses by looking at financials, bank statements, and a lot of stuff, merchant processing statements, credit card statements, and more. So there's that. There's also a personal loan you can use for business that we can do underneath creative credit-based financing. And we can combine a personal loan with business credit cards. 5 or 7 years on the personal loan used for business, or 1 to 5 years. The strength of it also determines your credit and your DTI, your debt to income, all that stuff. I won't get to it right now. I'll talk to you about all the requirements on that. So we can do a combination and or what's best, what fits your needs, or what can you actually qualify for. If you don't have the credit for a personal loan, which is 680 usually on all three consumer credit bureaus, or 680 on one, but 680 on all or 700 plus on all can get you even better. Then there's an angle, or we get a credit partner, somebody who is a business partner or isn't, that can at least get a personal loan that is not a business partner. They're a business partner with at least 10% plus ownership. They can help with the business credit cards and or personal loan if they meet the requirements. So that's another angle in assisting with getting that for growth and expansion, for reserves, for paying down other debt, for taking a fraction of that and then using another program to pay down the rest of the debt or something else that we can enroll into. There's also MCA debt restructuring, settlements, reverse end consolidations, which are more expensive, using a real estate property or properties to pay down debts or other means, get a cash out refinance, which I've done plenty of. That's something right now that's very, very big because there's a lot of high liquidable assets, high net worth individuals, and even non-high net worth individuals who really need to get cash out. They need to have more cash reserves and cash flow going through their business, and they're steadying their ship, so to speak. So they're trying to make sure they have all that together and custom to making sure that they grow at the right rate in their business. And there's more in their investments and what they need that money for. That's as much as I'm going to cover in this video. Again, you have my tabs here that you saw. Go here to get started. I showed you here, we're here with the Financial Literacy Academy. I highly recommend picking this up, get it, have it. So I'll try to leave a link to that down below. I'll try to have one page with all of this. If it's not in my link tree or if I make changes to this, then you'll see that right here as I go through this. Three Cash Flow Secrets ebook is right there. I don't have the financial literacy one in here. MCA debt is down here, relief. What could be the options there? My story, if you want to learn more about my story. How to start a business online, what I recommend right here. Pick that up. Highly recommended. Over here, just a little bit more. The guy pointing the finger at us, or fingers, and Mr. Well Known. Over here, I have my group, which I was showing you a little bit of earlier. Now let's come back to the Facebook profile, newsfeed, because it's times out and it goes back. So all that is there. Hopefully you got a lot of value from this video. This, like I said, you can get this Financial Literacy Academy through here. And when you go through the checkout page, you might not see it right here, likely won't. And then through the upsell, you can pick up the Financial Literacy Academy. You can pick up other things here as well, as you can see. The Let's Go app, earn residual income, transform your morning routine, daily success habits made simple, and plenty more. So yeah, could have spent a lot of time on this video going through all the things in the bank, what they're looking for now, what they will likely look at later when interest rates go low. And I could spend a lot of time. There's so much that I have, and it's all right here. And I'm constantly learning and with my network, understanding what they want more of and what they're doing to distribute funds, deposits, who owns what are the actual costs, true costs, underwriting department. It's just a lot of stuff that comes my way, and I go in their way just to see a little bit more and gather more. Have they changed things? Is this still their appetite? Did they increase that they wanted to go higher in LTV? They wanted to higher loan amounts that the client could qualify for. That's their base for many different reasons. Um, but yeah, I could have spent a lot of time. There's alternatives to traditional banks, as I've gone over. If you want faster speed line time, or you can't qualify for something else elsewhere, then I can help you with that. So that's all from me. I'm very tired. This guy needs to go sleep. I normally don't do a video at this time. I just something happened where I just needed to, like, not happen bad. Like, something inside of me just I haven't done one of these, and I was planning on doing a video like this. And if you notice my upload, I haven't been uploading so much in long form and even any kind of video, maybe shorts every now and then, just because I get busy and I'm working on large projects right now. I'm very thankful and grateful to have and people that come my way. And from time to time, you'll see a video like this. And if not, just know that I'm still here. It's just, I don't have to be making another video. I'm not the hype person. Look at what you see online. Just be very mindful and careful of who you're getting information from. I'm not saying they're wrong. Are they getting everything to give you everything? What are they hiding? Why haven't they shown you, shared with you something that you would have liked to? And a lot of this I can handle in an email, especially when you fill out a questionnaire. I get back to you via email, and that I can send you a customized solution. I've been doing this for years at a process because I have to be very energy and time efficient. I have documents I can share with you that do the heavy lifting, that show you how to you can qualify, self-qualify yourself, disqualify yourself too, how to get started, how to submit things. Uh, yeah. So all will be down below in the description. I hope you got a lot of value. Give me any comments if you have any questions, concerns. If you don't like me, if you don't want to work with me, hey, one less person I have to worry about energy and time and efficiency and friction and resistance that shouldn't be added and it's unnecessary. Hey, I can live with that. And if you're somebody who won't get in their way, or you come to me and I don't want to be wasting my energy and time just being always the information guy, because I get it. If you're at a stage where you want that, I don't expect you always have to go with me, but I'm not going to be as open like that. I might even become even more exclusive as I already have been, like selective on who I want to work with and the projects I want to take on. And I'm always open to someone new and new people, but it has to be for the right people and the right business, because then I could be flipping my gears on the hamster wheel and I can catch these things quick before I get in it and before I get too involved in it. Okay. So that's all from me. Look down below in the description. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon.